and I'm from the Narsik Junior High. First three words in the preamble, "We the people," are the most three powerful words in the entire history of the United States. These words symbolize that the people living in the United States are not controlled by the government, but rather have freedoms protected by the Constitution that the government cannot violate. Unfortunately, the people take these freedoms for granted and do not know how sacred these are. The freedom of religion is a principle which protects the right to worship any religion. Before the Constitution was created, there was not much religious tolerance in the U.S., even though many people from Europe came to America because they believed there was a religious tolerance here. An example of this was Roger Williams, who found it necessary to make a colony in Rhode Island to escape the persecution in the Massachusetts colony. Out of the 13 colonies, Maryland was the only colony to tolerate various religions. Today, people can exercise this principle by just respecting the various religions practiced by other people. Next comes the freedom of press and the freedom of speech. These are the two principles that protect the right of speaking freely without government censorship. These two freedoms go hand in hand with each other. However, freedom of press is a subcategory under the freedom of speech. Today, even when the freedom of speech/press is in the Constitution, there have been court cases where the accused has complained that his or her freedom of speech was violated. For example, in 1969, there was a famous case called Tinker versus Des Moines Independent School District, where two students wore black armbands with peace signs on them to protest the Vietnam War. The school asked them to take them off, and when they refused, expelled them. The students sued the school district because they thought the school violated their freedom of speech by using censorship. The students eventually did win this case. The freedom of the press guarantees protection from government censorship so that journalists can express themselves. Today, people can practice this principle by letting others express their opinion without threatening them of consequences. The last principles are the freedom of assembly and the freedom of petition, which also go hand in hand with each other. These principles protect the right to assemble in a group and defending common interests by listing many grievances respectively. One famous petition in the U.S. was the Olive Branch Petition, which asked the British king to stop fighting and resolve all problems peacefully. Unfortunately, since the freedom of petition was not created yet, the king said that this was a revolt and sent 20,000 soldiers to end it. Today, people can peacefully assemble publicly to protest against what they think is unconstitutional and can also petition to an authority in an attempt to get that authority to accede to a request. In conclusion, people do not realize how important these freedoms are. In some cases, people do take advantage of these rights, like in the court case where the students said that the school was violating their freedom of speech. People should take advantage of these freedoms more often because our country has not always had them, like during times of the Revolution. America's constitutional freedoms are formed keeping in mind the power of the people in the nation. Let us all be aware of this privilege and make use of it when appropriate. Thank you.
These are department essays, which is just another word for state. But if I was judging at state and I had a first place like that, I'd certainly make him a winner. I thought it was wonderful.